Yeah. So what we were saying about you collecting what? What are you collecting?
Coins.
Collecting coins. How old are you?
30.
30 years old, yeah?
Yes.
30 years old and know so much about the genetics.
Man,
Yeah.
just learning.
Learning?
Day-to-day basis.
Can you clone people?
Well, you can technically, but you have regulations which doesn't allow you to clone people.
Yeah, the regulation like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So there is a global moratorium, like where there are different organizations who have come together and they have decided like not to allow cloning as a legal, process.
So so they put some type of paperwork, and every individual country signed it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. It's more like countries agreeing to the overall, aspects of not taking part in the nuclear deals or nuclear weapons.
Okay.
Similar like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about animals, cloning animals? Because I remember there was something about the sheep.
Yeah, cloning animals is still fine at this point of time. Again, it depends from countries to countries, but there are countries where it is legal because Dolly, the sheep, was one of the first cloned animals. So for that, they have actually done the experiment and it's worked successfully. And they do a lot, especially for those animals where they want to make sure that they have the similar kind of traits of an animal, also similar kind of genetics, so that they can potentially do some studies which can kind of show, okay, this animal again reproduced into same genetics, will it have any kind of changes or any kind of outputs in terms of the overall results.
Yeah. So Arun, yeah, what's up, buddy? It took us like so long to make this happen. This kind of conversation. We met. When did you move to Hong Kong?
I moved to Hong Kong in 2017, exactly. And yeah, it's been almost like 3 years since I moved here.
Yeah. We worked together.
Sorry, 2018.
18?
Yes, 18.
What did you say?
Yeah.
18.
Yes.
Yeah, and you moved from...
Was it like was it testing?
No, we're recording, dude.
Okay.
You can clone people. Okay.
No, let's go.
You need more than the one person to clone.
You need more than one person.
Because it's like, because you are a specialist in. Can you describe what you are doing right now?
Okay, so I work as a lead genetic counselor for Circle DNA, and my role is to help individuals understand the genetic test results and also do the interpretation for the test reports, and also help individuals understand what kind of screenings that they might have to do, what kind of lifestyle changes they have to follow in terms of their overall health, and how they can minimize the potential risk for the conditions that they have genetically high risk for.
This kind of knowledge what you have to lead this kind of company like Circle. When did you discover you want to do something like this?
Okay, so this is like very random in the sense like how I got into this field, because when I was studying in India, we have very typical kind of fields, like it's either being a doctor, being a lawyer, or being an engineer. So there's like no other field that people usually go into.
The same was in Poland when I was a kid.
Okay.
It's just this kind of directions, and there's nothing else.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was like very straightforward thing, and that's the reason why in my school I had to choose either between mathematics or having biology as an elective. But I was so confused that I took both of them, and I was like only like the student in guys and the entire class who took this both options together. And I was like, man, what am I doing? Like, because I was so confused, I didn't know if I wanted to be a doctor or I wanted to be an engineer. So my dad is an engineer, right? So that's why I was like, maybe I should give it a try for both things. And I realized that I sucked terribly at math. And then I was like, shit, this is not for me. And then I was so intrigued by biology because when I was reading like even the basic things like photosynthesis or let's say even about animal reproduction or you know, things like that, I was like, how beautiful it is, like in terms of the nature, like how things around like surrounding us, they have so much complexity, but at the same time it's so beautiful, like to think about it. So this is what like got me very intrigued, and I was so good at it, like in terms of the interest level and my passion towards it, that I used to just study like only one day before the exam and probably like 2 hours, and I used to be still like top 1 or 2 in the class, and I was like, maybe it's natural for me, like I had that interest, right? So when you have some passion for something, I think no matter what, you will definitely do well, or you will excel, right? So I think that's why anyone who chooses any field, they have to be passionate about something.
So if somebody right now it's in the field of biology, and they want to study genetics,
right?
What it's how they can, for example, check if this is exactly it's good for them? What kind of books you will suggest, for example, or maybe we have like a list of your books. You're thinking maybe some type of author, maybe some type of thinkers, maybe there's some type of YouTube channels or podcasts. What kind of will give you this first spark?
Right. No, I think first is, you know, when you are in the school itself, you will tend to figure out, okay, what is my main elective subject? Whether it's going to be mathematics or it's going to be biology. I mean, you cannot do both together and try to be both everything, right? Like all of things. So I think once you know, okay, little bit interest is more inclined towards biology, then I think you will automatically get more indulged into different streams of biology. Again, you know, genetics is only one part of it. You have again biotechnology, you have microbiology, you have biochemistry, then you have you know, organic chemistry. So there's so many things, but of course your focus will get more specific the more you get to understand different elements of the biology, you know, pathways or different kind of, you know, subjects. So for me it was the, I would say, animal, you would say reproduction, or maybe like more plant biology, or you know, synthetic biology. So this was something I was more curious into. I was like understanding how the future could actually stem out of what it was from like the current scenario, like what could be things that you can do for the human race in future. So this is why I got into genetics, because I felt it was very new, it was something niche which many people didn't even understand about it. Of course the West had a lot of advancement, but when I was studying in India, we used to still be a little bit up to date, because luckily our professors were someone who were more advanced in terms of the knowledge. So that's why they were able to give us that kind of you know, curiosity, and this is what made me get into more deeper into genetics.
So what is the future of the genetics, and how it can benefit like a common health, especially like right now when you have a situation with all these viruses, you know, it's the level of it's a pandemic level, and it's so how this something like that play the role in its like in the day-to-day existence of somebody. If maybe somebody can, you know, check their tests themselves, you know, through different type of tests, and we can just say like what kind of tests are available, you know, and it's how individual can better themselves and how the common health can benefit from the genetic understanding.
Sure. I mean, it's a very vast topic, like because the question is also very broad that you asked, but definitely in terms of the broader picture, if I have to position it, I would say genetics is going to be mainstream in future, and that's like no denial, because that's the ultimate truth. And I think over the time, when you can see that it will be so common that you might actually consider a genetic test more like a blood test when you go to a hospital, or somebody, even if they are born in a hospital, they might straight away get a genetic test. And
but they don't do this in Europe right now with that, like a thing for the kids, like they
do it, but that is mainly for newborn screening. So it's mostly for the specific conditions where they might get you know, affected, or which is going to affect the child you know, health. But right now it's not, being targeted for overall different health conditions.
So because there is a so long list of the diseases.
Exactly.
So if we want to test for all of those, it would be so expensive.
Exactly. So expensive. Yeah. And also in terms of the comprehensiveness, it will be like, very long, right? The number of conditions that you test. So it'll ultimately come down to the pricing of the genetic test and also the platform that's being used, and what's the throughput, which means what's the overall efficiency of that testing platform. So all of these things will come into play, but eventually it will come down to a price when it will be so easily available and anybody can try and get it as a parent or as an individual. So it will be very easy. Now that's with the common health, right? Now if you see the overall whole genome, which was actually sequenced of an individual, it took approximately 1 billion, US dollars back in 2003. And Steve Jobs, got it done at that kind of a price, right? And now, if you see, it's almost close to. Yeah, Steve Jobs. Yes, he did this, whole genome sequence, and
this Steve Jobs, from Apple.
Yeah, Apple, Steve Jobs. Yeah,
Apple did it.
Yeah.
I think it was a government project by a good.
No. It is a government project. What I mean is, he was one of those general public figures who actually got the test done at that point of time, and he was very curious. He wanted to know what his genetics are. So he got it done at a certain
and he discovered he had a cancer.
Well, I mean, that was more, I think, a kind of a blood cancer, which is more than genetic. I think it's more environmental. But
I didn't know.
And then now you see the overall genetic testing for whole genome. It's approximately $1,000.
Yeah, I remember when I jumped to this this market, this understanding of genetics. I was running the studio here in Hong Kong, and it's always was the question with the clients: what I'm supposed to eat, how I'm supposed to exercise, and it's technically the same kind of answer for everybody. But it's one time I was reading an article about a Chinese national team, and that national team preparing for Olympics. They start testing their athletes, and on the base of that, they knew what kind of program they're supposed to give them, nutritional wise and fitness wise. And I've found a company from UK at the time, and as I reached to them, and there was a guy who was an ex-Olympian who was running this business, and then he sent me like a plastic box, and then just swipe my checks, and sending to UK, and then it was 20 categories. I don't know how many genes exactly, but cost 6,000 Hong Kong dollars.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's giving me only information about what kind of diet I'm supposed to eat. So and also give me fitness elements like recovery, power, endurance elements, what the percentage wise. Those like this. And right now with the products like Circle, who does over 500 categories, checking the words of full genome. It's
whole exome.
Whole exome. Okay, so can you explain what the difference between the exome, genome, and what is the difference between all of tests? Because there are so many tests, and it's I was mentioning how somebody can benefit, fix them some understanding themselves, and so if they're making this decision regarding what to take, what kind of difference there is a test. You don't need to tell the names exactly. This is not the point. The point is to understand the science or basics.
Sure. So there are different platforms, different technology out there. I know for an end user it can be very difficult for them to understand, but it's Circle, as you mentioned, they do whole exome. So where we actually do a sequencing for the protein coding regions of the DNA. Now, in our DNA, there is a lot of junk DNA, and there is also certain coding regions which are something which can be associated with how our proteins function, or how different elements in our body are working, so that we can understand, okay, what is it associated with any kind of conditions or any kind of risk towards diet, and things like that. So all of this could be understood from the protein coding part of the region.
Because all of us, we are protein.
Yeah, I mean, what I mean is in our 100% DNA, right, the overall genetics, protein coding part is probably around, I would say 2 to 5%. That's the only part which is like right now, which is known to be protein coding, and which is what we actually do the sequencing for. The remaining 95, I would say 90 to 95 is junk DNA, which we really don't know what it is. And that is what is whole genome. So whole genome is that part of the junk DNA plus the protein coding. So both together is the entire genome, constituent of our DNA. Yeah. So this is what we actually try to help individuals understand in terms of the application of genome, is to understand there are certain kind of other conditions which might not necessarily be in that protein coding region. It could be in the junk, and there are currently very limited data to actually understand the junk DNA. So that's the reason why the whole genome at this point of time is not the main source of genetic testing platform for most of the companies. But whole exome is right now in demand because it is something that we have idea about. It is something that we have studies about.
Yeah.
So this is the reason why, exome at this point of time is more clinical and more specific in terms of the output you get.
So you've just go online looking for this kind of test. They send you box, you're swapping.
Yeah.
Usually it's from saliva or from
it's from saliva. So any specific part of our body can have pretty much DNA in it. It could be your hair, it could be your saliva or swab, or you can even get it from your blood. But saliva or swab test is more easier because it's non-invasive, completely pain-free process, and it's easy to collect. So that's the whole idea.
What will be suggesting to anybody to check about the quality of the company before they making the purchase?
Okay.
Like how they, it's
yeah. That's
if they, for example, because I remember there was this company here in Hong Kong came and I also get a test from them. But what they were doing just white label, so that's and I think that there's a lot of players in this game who are doing something like that. So they don't really own the lab, they just own the service.
Yeah.
So I think so. This is important. What else would be important?
So that is one, of course, if they are outsourcing it from some company or not. Second would be to understand what is the kind of platform that they're running on. That's number two. Again, number three would be how much percentage of sample data that they have that they're using in terms of the analysis part of it. That is important. And then
equipment, what that's the lab using?
Yeah, also the throughput or the overall, I would say, efficiency of the technological platform. So in terms of, as you mentioned, for Circle DNA, the overall coverage is approximately 100x. So which is like very good. It's a gold standard kind of a number if you see in terms of the genetic testing, which is very good output. Some, for example, companies, they give output of 30x or 50x. So it's like,
what does it mean?
So the higher the X means, the higher the better efficiency of covering that specific part of the DNA sequence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is something.
So X, this means it's like it's of how zoom in, like it's
not like the microscope way, but this is more like how much percentage efficiency in terms of covering that specific sequence of the DNA.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So if it is 100x, which means the coverage is really good in terms of how we sequence the specific
can we
DNA
do 200x?
Sorry?
Can be done 200x?
No, I mean that is like way too much for overall data sequence, because then the data will also increase. Like there is also an output data which will be in GBs. So the file also has to be something which is more on the lower side. At the same time,
it's kind of like if you have a photo and it has a pixels, when it be too much pixel, it'll be just painful for the eye. I don't know.
It'll be more. I see. Will be more. Of course, storage also, right?
Yes.
And also the clarity will be great. But 100x is good enough to actually have all the main kind of information to do the analysis. I think that is good enough. 100x. Yeah. So that's one. And also you have to look at the service element of it, like what happens once you get the results. Like many companies, they don't have a service element, so this is where we come into picture. Genetic counselors or health coaches, they help individuals understand the results. Many companies, they leave them just with the reports. Now people panic, they don't know what things to do, or sometimes they get some scary part of the results, then they might actually go into depression.
I think this is the worst one, is they just do nothing. They just got a report, and they just like, they don't really implement this this knowledge. And it's like I did my first test, the exome test, and this was over 500 reports, and I'm still coming back, and just like learning by myself.
Yes.
And it's also what it's good, and a lot of people don't understand, or they just make an assumption. It's how this data is storage, and also what can happen with this data. Because, like, for example, right now, 23andMe and then Branson, they're doing some type of collaboration. Do you know something about this?
Yes. So, like, Richard Branson and Anne, who is the 23andMe CEO, they both
I know she's Polish.
I think she's maybe
she's ex of the guys from the Google.
Yes, she is the ex-wife of Google, Sergey Brin. Yes. So she is doing a kind of a merger, not more like it's an acquisition, special acquisition. It's called SPAC SPAC. So that is what they're trying to acquire 23andMe in a kind of a merger deal, and then they will go public as an IPO. So which means people can buy shares publicly for that company
of their own DNA.
If they already done the test, yes. But general public can still buy the stocks. So So this is
how people need to worry about something like that, because it's like I'm happy if, the stuff what I'm doing with the Prenetics. It's like we don't, in the core of the business, we don't sell and we don't rent the data. And this is always I was telling to the companies, to people, it's like this is what we are doing, but doesn't mean the companies who not doing, they know exactly this is your data. If I'm correct?
I mean, the thing is, privacy is, of course, a major concern to many of the people. And this is something that they also need to look into before they buy. And also, like, when they research about a company, they need to know, okay, what's the background of the company? Whether this company is ultimately going to sell your data to some third party or not. Now, the data can be, utilized in many ways that you don't even know about. It could be, of course, sold to some pharma companies for drug discovery. I mean, of course, it's good for the society. And also, you can sell it for, to different kind of maybe marketing companies. To understand.
There's a lot of companies right now. I even invested one in Korea, but they failed. There was this kind of like a bank of your genetic data, and you can sell through the coin to the different companies. So but they failed with the operation, because in Korea it's this market is very, very regulated. So they became very, very expensive to run this kind of business. But the idea was to tokenize your genetic informations. So
I mean, so I do see some companies who are doing like that, where they are trying to pay you back if you have done a genetic test from any other company, and you just upload your data to their platform, and they will pay you back money. So they are trying to monetize from your data ultimately. So this is
how much you can make.
So 100 USD they're giving you back for the test results that
for your file.
For your file,
100
USD or approximately 200 USD. So basically, let's say I did a test from some third-party company, right? I paid maybe 100 USD or 200 USD just for the fun elements like ancestry and stuff. So let's say if I upload that data to these people, they will pay me back again. So technically, people think, oh, it's free. I didn't pay anything because I got back my money.
Yeah.
But then they don't understand that their data is being sold at a much higher value than they actually even bought the data for.
Oh, or less. You know.
I mean, it's definitely more in the sense like they will be selling it probably for $1,000 or maybe $2,000. You don't know at this point of time.
So from this data, it's but it's only individual genes information, or it needs to be how much genes you need to give.
So that's the problem, right? So as I mentioned
because you can give them this 95%, the junk.
Yeah. No, I mean, for example, like say like companies like 23andMe or Ancestry.com, they run on a platform which is known as GSA, so which is known as a Global Screening Array. So this platform is where they can get only like specific set of genetic markers, like approximately 700K. So it's very limited. It's not even like probably like 0.001% of the DNA. It's like very limited set of markers, but these are known to be associated with certain traits or certain kind of diet or nutrition. But when it comes to exome, it is like so much more than that, right? So that is why if they have data from exome, like these companies, they will probably pay you more back.
Wow.
So it depends on the platform.
One guy, he looks like Darwin, and he started this kind of genetic company.
You mean George Church?
Yeah, and his name is God Church.
George Church.
Oh, George Church.
Yeah, George Church.
Church.
So he's a professor at Harvard.
Harvard, yeah.
So he started some 2-3 companies. I mean.
And because he wants to
resurrect woolly mammoth.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So I mean that's an ongoing project. I think they are planning to get it done by year 2023 or 25 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so they will start the Jurassic Park. Yes.
Technically, you can say that, but still, it's a challenging thing because to restructure the entire DNA of an animal which is completely extinct, it's going to be a
they say they want to mix with something.
They're going to mix, but then they also have to, it's more like a algorithm they have to develop to try and predict what could be the sequence of this woolly mammoth. Yeah. Because some parts might not really be something that we can understand. So they might have to add something, and maybe they might mix it with elephant or like an Asiatic elephant or something like that.
If you have the horse with the donkey, if you mix the horse with donkey, you have this animal who cannot reproduce. I think something like that.
So could be. So there are many mixes like that. So you have like lion and tiger, and it's called liger or something like that, right?
It's a liger, real stuff.
It's a real stuff, and it's massive. It's like huge.
But cannot reproduce by themselves.
No, they can reproduce, but I think the overall point was to develop traits of both lion and tiger in them. So it's like
how if this is something like, because I heard CRISPR. CRISPR is there's kind of like a magic regarding this kind of this genetic mutations or.
But this thing about like mixing two animals, that is not like much associated with CRISPR. That is more to do with artificial insemination. So what they will do is they will take the sperm of, let's say, lion, and then they will inject it into the egg of the tiger, or the female, right? And then the output would be lion and tiger.
the guy in China, he didn't use the CRISPR for the
so that is a little bit different, because what the case over there was that there was couples who were affected with HIV, and they were planning to have a kid, right? And they are already pregnant, but and then if you do not,
so she was already pregnant with the baby, and the baby has HIV already.
It's in the process of development. In the baby was in the developmental process. So when you can modify at a very early stage of the developmental process, you can totally correct the overall problem of let's say HIV by specifically going at this one single mutation. If you can modify that, you are known to be resistant towards HIV. So this person
resistant,
so you'll be resistant to HIV. So that way you can protect the child from getting HIV. So that was the ultimate aim. Now there was so much backlash because number one is CRISPR is not legal, right? Technically, because you cannot modify certain human beings' genetics unless it is completely approved by certain organizations. And till now, there is no approval process because it's a science which is known to work, but the thing is, there are so many problems which could arise from it at this point of time because it's not foolproof. Because there are certain specific set of, I would say, sequences which might go on an off-target, which means it can affect some other part of DNA sequence.
Yeah.
So rather than doing benefit to those kids, it might actually even, in fact, kill them, or maybe it can make them into, you know, having some other
because
health problems.
one gene is not only responsible for
one part, yes, exactly. And also that one specific you know, location that they are trying to target, maybe it might not hit that target, it might hit something else, and when that happens, maybe that could lead to some other problem.
When you say that's the specific location, what do you mean?
So yeah, so basically CRISPR, how it works is you know, there are certain specific sites where you can target. Let's say there's a genetic mutation, right? So you can inject certain,
and this genetic mutation is in where?
In the DNA sequence, right? And then
And
there is certain enzymes.
where is the DNA sequencing?
DNA sequencing.
Yeah, where is the DNA in us?
It's in all the cell,
Every cell. It's
yeah,
from the hair to
exactly.
everywhere.
Yeah, every cell has the DNA in it, right? And what will happen is when you inject this specific enzyme, which is known as Cas9. So this enzyme will go specifically, let's say, for that you know, baby who let's say could potentially get affected with HIV, right? So there is this gene called CCR4. So this gene, if I modify a specific mutation, then that baby can be resistant towards HIV. So this is what he was trying to do, and he has done it. The thing is, of course, it's not through the legal procedure, right, or through the overall clinical, you know, route where it has approved or anything, right? So that's the problem.
It's, if I'm correct, it's the CRISPR plays some type of role in the vaccine development?
At this point of time, I don't see like any potential like you know, trials or anything going on, but maybe there is some. I haven't looked into it, but the overall idea is like this Cas9 enzyme which I told you, right? They act as biological scissors. So they will cut exactly that specific location where you have a mutation, and then you can inject certain sequence where it can go and rectify that you know, mutation, or add certain sequence so that
this CRISPR will go to every cell of my body?
Every cell of that specific mutation.
Okay.
Yes.
So this mutation doesn't exist in every part of my body, in every cell.
No, it's inside the DNA. So your DNA is in every cell, right?
Yeah.
So this CRISPR, you know, technology will be applicable to every cell, provided you're doing it at a very developmental stage of the baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then it will easily, you know, go and correct itself for every cell in the body. So that is
because it will be difficult to put this right now, because there is so many cells in my body right now.
Yeah.
To CRISPR just go everywhere, because like on the beginning we are just
during developmental process it's more easy because one is your cells are still in the process of development. So when you correct it early, it can immediately get replicated to other parts of the body or other cells as well.
So right now the CRISPR is also regulated.
It's regulated, heavily regulated, and also it's not approved in most of the countries because of the very potential ethical reasons.
Did you see this documentary about, I think so, net? Oh, you sent me that thing. So you sent me the link about a documentary about a CRISPR.
Yes.
This is what was the name? There was the lady who's discovered this, and later I was watching the TED talk about it, and she was just like kind of similar to Oppenheimer when he discovered the atomic bomb. And he was just like, I'm
worried about also the negative things that
and this is she shared the same kind of moment of discovering.
Correct, right.
If this is correct, it's you can use the CRISPR already, because there was some cases in this documentary about the kid who have like problem with the vision.
Yes. So right now it is being approved like strategically for certain health conditions, like for example certain monogenic genetic conditions, which means those genetic conditions which can be affected by single gene. So right now there are a lot of clinical trials which are going for conditions like cystic fibrosis, where you know the child might develop a single, let's say they have a single genetic mutation, in this specific gene, which is known as like CFTR, and then they'll get this condition which is known as cystic fibrosis, which is very common. Many people get
like
this.
50% what you're saying, I'm just like, I wouldn't like follow up right away with another question, and then we never, because like fibrosis, I'm like, this, I understand the half of the word, and then, no.
No, but that's why I'm going to explain.
Just say disease.
Yeah.
So to follow the logic, because, I'm doing all of this to not only spread this message, but also educate myself.
Sure.
And also learn from it.
Because
sure. I see this this conversation and this platform as an educational part.
Right.
So when you're doing, for example, the perking, this called perking, the heel of the baby for and they checking the
heel prick.
The heel prick, yes. On this stage, the CRISPR technology can be involved if they discover
when the baby is already born. You mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it could be done in certain stages of life, provided if it's more in the developmental stage, then it's much better. So right now there are a lot of trials going on for conditions where a single gene is associated, because many genes have a kind of a role with multiple genes. Then it's very hard to target so many genes. And as you mentioned, you never know if that gene is only with
exactly.
that. So this is the problem that you might have. So that's why right now they're focusing on genes which they know that it is straight away associated with certain condition. So that's why I was giving cystic fibrosis, because it's a very common condition where children cannot breathe. Because they will develop mucus in their lungs, and also in the breathing will be very hard, and they might not live more than 35 to 40 years. So you can pretty much treat those kids. And then also sickle cell anemia, it's like a blood disorder. So you can directly change the specific mutation, and then you can avoid the child being affected with the blood disorder. So all this is in the pipeline, and they have approved, as you mentioned, for blindness. So it's for one of the eye degeneration related condition. So they have also done some trials, and I think in coming 2-3 years we'll see many list of conditions.
Do you think it's maybe sometimes we are looking for the answers in the places when we think the answer exists, like genetics, but the solution is somewhere else? Like, for example, because there is something like you have this genetic mutation, but it's not, it's what it's some people saying it's switching on and off genes. What does it mean exactly?
Okay, so that basically people are talking about this specific pathway, or you can say specific process, which is known as epigenetics. So epigenetics is the role of environment on the genes. So for example, all these conditions and everything that I'm talking about is based on the genetics, or you can say the mutations that you have inherited from your parents. Now there's nothing you can do, because that's what you're gonna get it from both either of the parents, right? But
everything it's I got it from parents.
Everything. So what I mean is you might get some mutations which can cause conditions, but there is no control, like, because you cannot do anything about it, right, at this point of time. But there is, let's say, an element of lifestyle which is also going to affect how your genes are going to function. So you can consider your genes as a switchboard. So think about it, when you're turning on a aircon, right? You have to switch on the the switch, and then you see the aircon releasing the cold air. Similarly, your genes will be affected by the environment. So let's say you are someone who is very healthy, and then you suddenly start smoking. So the genes associated with your lungs efficiency can get turned off or turned on in a way that you might develop lung cancer. So this is how the environment can have effect on your genes. Or let's say if somebody is trying to have a very kind of a sedentary lifestyle, they are not someone who is following certain fitness activities or anything. So their genes are like, let's say for obesity, right? They have certain genetic markers which makes the process of fat breakdown or metabolism very slow. On top of it, they are very, let's say, lazy, and they were having a sedentary lifestyle. their ability to put on weight will be much higher, and they will immediately become obese. So why do you think like some people have a really faster tendency to put on weight? Because they have genetic markers, and on top of it, they are adding the lifestyle aspect.
So technically, the genes are on and off the same time.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's just saying that you can off and off. It's just doesn't really. It's correct, I think, because I have the same kind of conversation with the people about who bring this subject of switching on and off the genes, you know, and it's kind of my understanding of what it exactly mean, this kind of on and off situations when it's all of them on and the same time they are off because you're not doing stuff. Because I have this friend right now, young kid, it's a really good coach, and then healthy, you know, fitness driven, but he just got a test and he has a higher level for prostate cancer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
So for him, it makes sense from an environmental perspective to try and have, you know, food sources which are, let's say, rich in you know, certain kind of, I would say, aspects which can decrease the prostate cancer. For example, you know, tomatoes, they are known to be a little bit helpful, beneficial in reducing the risk of prostate cancer. At the same time, since he has the genetic mutation, he can start screening for you know, prostate specific you know, markers like PSA. PSA levels is like prostate specific antigen levels. So he can start doing it from the age of 55 or early, so that he can get hold of it at a very early stage. So I
think it's even earlier. You know, I have so many. I have in the last.
I mean, usually
couple years,
the standard guideline is after the age of 60. But let's say if you have genetic,
I think so. Right now, everyone's supposed to start screening at the age of like 30.
No, because prostate cancer is not a very common cancer in the 30s. It's more from the age of 50 onwards, right? So that's why right now the screening guideline, it's even if you say in UK or even in other countries, it starts from 60. But let's say you have genetic mutation, then it should technically start earlier, maybe from 50.
Yeah.
So you're more, you know, more cautious about it. Yeah. So that is one way, and of course, you can try and also have a healthier diet, because diet plays a huge role on how your genes get expressed.
Yeah. So
some people's tendency to have a higher risk of cancer, let's say if people are eating red meat, you can develop colorectal cancer by almost 20 to 25%. So this can immediately increase your risk. Second is you're eating barbecue. So when you overcook, you know, meat, right, they release certain carcinogens, certain toxins, and this is what on a long term can increase the risk of cancers as well. Yeah. So these things, when people don't understand, that is why, you know, they might think, oh, okay, this is something natural, I got it. But this is again the same, you know, epigenetics, or the switch on off that you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah,
I think it's like we are naturally we're looking for like one pill solution.
Yeah.
For everything,
which is not possible.
It's impossible. It's like we as a humans were too complicated.
Yes, it's a very complex human system that we have, and the thing is, to make everything right for us, we have to look at it at a holistic view. You have to think from mental well-being. You have to talk about, like, you know, diet, fitness, of course, and you also do, you know, try more about different kind of screenings, which is also very important. You also have to make sure that you understand about your genes or genetics. So everything has to be personalized based on your you know, genetics. At the same time, your lifestyle has to be more on the better side in terms of, let's say, your overall well-being of your mental state. That also plays a huge role, because many people don't talk about it, but stress also has a big factor in how it can affect your risk for health conditions.
Yeah, for me it was just like, I remember when I opened my results and it was saying I have a genetic mutation for anxiety, and I'm like, oh, that's make all the sense. You know? So
no, but that's the thing. So even if you have high risk for anxiety, you can start doing meditation. So as you said today, you did a lot of meditation, right?
Yeah.
So this is very good. So you're actually trying to switch off the button for, or switch on the button for the anxiety related genetic markers. And so this is how you can minimize the risk.
Plus, it's telling me I'm in a group of people who need to sleep over 9 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's different aspects.
But seriously, I know I am this kind of person. All my life, I burn this candle from both sides, and I burn myself a couple times when my body just shut down.
Right.
Just like it's done. It's like you need to. Doesn't matter how many alarms you put in. I need to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I know I cannot borrow this time for sleep, because I was just finished like a book about sleeping, and it was just the same. Like you cannot borrow like the future sleep. But people say, oh, I will have 5 hours right now, but because tomorrow I don't start late, so I will push another one. So this is maybe it'll be 11. So it's so this is exactly 5.5. No, doesn't
No, of course. I mean, I would say anything above average of 7 hours is very important.
Yeah.
And I think most of the like neurological conditions like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, it's straight away associated with lower sleep quality or sleep duration.
Yeah.
So if you are someone who sleeps less than 7 hours average, your risk for Alzheimer's is a little bit much higher than the general population.
Yeah.
So you have to be, of course, taking care of your sleep also. And Parkinson's also is one of those conditions. So I think everything, as I mentioned, it's a lot of process that you have to do in order to get the optimum health for you. It's not just, let's say, about genetics. It's not about only diet, only about fitness, but it's everything together.
Yeah. How much of this what you know, what you preach, you implement it to your life?
The most I can, because definitely, I am in this field because I want to not only advise people about what they need to be doing, because if I don't set this as an example for them,
you can do the genetics for plants, you can do genetics for animals.
No, we can, but I chose human health because I want to make changes in somebody's let's say outlook towards health, but at the same time help them get immediate benefit. Plant and all that, you can do a lot of research, but it takes years of things, research to actually get to that stage where I can ultimately say, I developed this new strain of crop which can be resistant against drought, or it can be resistant against some insects. It takes time for those, but this one is immediate. I can see the results. I can immediately see the value of it to the clients. So that's why I feel it's more direct. Yeah.
It's for me. It's also not only the elements of the fitness, nutrition. This is kind of my specialization, but it's the fun part about a element of psychology in the genes. What do you think about that? How much you, for example, knowing this kind of stuff about yourself, using as a tool,
right?
Like,
So, for example, when I did tests from many companies, right? Because every company I work, they always give me
how many genetic companies?
So I think I have almost like 4 or 5 reports from many companies that I worked with.
Okay.
Because as an employee, they always get a free test, right? So so when I get those tests from different platforms, I understand. Of course, there are discrepancies in like how they analyze from any other company. So I make sense of
but the code will be still the same if you put it in the file.
Code will be the same. But the thing is, what they use as a logic in the backend is going to be a little bit different from every company. Also because of the platform they use. Maybe the code that you get or the genetic mutations that you get might be limited in companies like 23andMe, because I said they only screen for limited set of data. But in Circle DNA you have 7 I would say whole exome, so all the specific protein coding regions. So it's a huge.
How many 1.3?
1.3 millions data points.
Points, and the 23andMe
is 700K. Yeah.
And they're going public.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so that's the thing. So I personally have used that data to try and make my diet more specific, because I do have certain genetic tendencies for, like, for example, lactose. I actually didn't know about this from a very long time. And whenever I used to like have any, let's say, dairy or any ice creams and stuff like that, I used to immediately go like to poop, and my stomach was completely upset.
Just making noises.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, why is it happening to me? And it's so weird, right? And I never thought of it like, okay, it's gonna be like the lactose part of it. And then when I get the genetic,
did they say like it's just on average, just flat line, it's 65% of people they just lactose intolerant?
Well, it's very surprising. Actually, 90% of the Asian population are lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
So
just flat line it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, there are many, like facets to it, in the sense like you might get genetic lactose, you might also get due to the microbiome. There might be certain bacteria which might make it.
Start me about this this element of the genetics, because this is like, because how much genetic information it's just inside of our belly. This is not our DNA.
No, I mean it is not our DNA in the sense, but it's a external bacteria which we have, the gut bacteria.
And this bacteria has a DNA.
Yes, there are certain markers to it. But ultimately, this is something that you're also naturally, born with, but you can enrich it with the food sources which are rich in probiotics. So you can make it more better.
I'm obsessed with the probiotics.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm worried I will just like overload myself with probiotics.
So everything in moderation, right? Yeah. That is again, you have to understand.
Yeah.
You cannot keep taking supplements and think, oh shit, I'm going to be super healthy.
No, I know. It's because some of them you can load to your body and it'll be fine, but some of them you can overload. Yeah.
Well, it depends, right? I mean, of course, not. It doesn't apply to everything. Yeah. So, for me, I understood, okay, what kind of intolerances that I have. Even caffeine is something that I understood that I am, high risk for caffeine sensitivity, and also I have specific type of genetic mutation which makes me, kind of at higher risk of having heart conditions, almost 2x. Like, which means 2 times more higher risk of having heart conditions if I drink caffeine.
Oh yeah.
So this is something I knew, and then of course, anyway, I don't drink.
Follow in love in the wrong person.
And then I also found out that I have certain mutations for certain heart conditions separately. So that is something that's why I have to be more careful.
Did you have like a history in your family?
Yes, so I do have, but it's not something like in a younger age. So most of them developed in their 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
Which is still a little bit early, signs. So I think that is what made me understand that I had to take care of my diet very specifically. I had to cut down on all these meat intake, really high on saturated fat. I had to cut down on my trans fat, which is most of the junk food that I eat, and have more omega-3s, which is nuts and more of even supplements if I can take. Sometimes I do, but not very religiously.
How's your fitness? How you're playing? Because you like volleyball.
Yeah, I like volleyball. I like to play basketball. I think we have played some games together.
Yeah, not enough, dude.
Not enough. Yeah.
Right now everything is closed.
Yes. But I like more outdoor sports rather than gym. To be honest, I've never been to gym in my whole life. I don't know.
No way.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yeah, but I try to maintain my diet and also more on my fitness by going outside and playing.
It's easy, I remember when they shut down here the gyms, and I get pushed to. I still have I can always have access to it, but it's point is like I was like, okay, I would want to train outside.
Right.
So much fun.
Yes, I know.
And it's also right now I'm trying to build this outdoor gym here in Hong Kong.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's
so
cool.
It's nice. Like, it's a passion project.
Yes.
Because it's like not a lot of people know about Hong Kong, but Hong Kong is it's all green.
Yeah, exactly.
Over 80% of this country is green.
Green. It's mostly forest, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean the greenland. But I think it makes a huge difference, because when you're outside, I feel you're more connected to nature.
Oh my God! And you're getting this also that's your body adjusts to the temperature.
Yes.
And it's so much more benefits to the muscle growth, and it's
also good for your brain
and breathing.
Yeah, breathing. Yeah.
Oh my God! And exposure to like vitamin D.
Yeah, D.
Because not a lot of people know about it. It's the vitamin D. It's not really a vitamin D. It's more than just vitamin.
Yeah, I mean it has a huge role.
Yeah.
In terms of your thyroid risk. It can play a huge role in terms of your bone health. It's directly involved in the overall process of your calcium and all of that. And it is very important, of course, for your overall well-being. It is also important for your mental health.
Yeah.
Many people don't know about it. And
so
also,
much.
it's important for nowadays. Many studies are coming up. Again, it's not full scale that's been proven, but known to be very protective for COVID also.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah, I know. Let's go in this direction.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's like you can take the vitamin D, but it's not a replacement to the vitamin D what are you producing when you expose your body to the sun.
So yeah, so most of the supplements that you get outside is, I mean, from the commercial sources is vitamin D3, right? So again, the best way to understand is to get yourself tested by doing a blood test.
Yeah.
So 90% again of the majority of population in the world is deficient for vitamin D.
Oh, so you know what we can do? Let's do this, promise to each other. Let's do the blood test after this podcast.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Where we can go? You know,
you can do it from any clinics. Any clinics. Yeah.
How's something like the cost? You know, what do you think?
It's anything. I think definitely less than 1,000.
Less than 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Less than, I think, maybe 600 also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So later we'll do the test and we'll do the YouTube video about this.
Yeah. Sure.
Done.
Deal.
Okay.
Yeah. No, vitamin D is amazing in terms of the things it can do to your body.
Yeah, it's just because it's something what I was always thinking about. I was always doing when I was going to Poland. You know, I was doing just like full testing everything. You know, because my mom, she was all her life in the medical field. You know, I grew up in the lab. You know, so it's just like seriously,
you're a lab rat.
I'm a lab rat. Yeah, I was. So that's the reason, like it's.
So is there a reason why you have so much muscle? So your mom injected some CRISPR technology?
No, this is Chernobyl. Chernobyl. I survived Chernobyl. No, it was like I know, like on my dad's side, my dad was the beast. Like big dude, motorcycles. You know, he was power lifter in the army when he was doing the army.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, he was big dude. My mom, you know. Is skinny, tall. So I was like between them. But I know, like when I did my test, it's like I'm low power, low endurance. I need to sleep 9 hours to just exist. You know, I don't have any genetic mutation to put me in a risk to develop any different cancers. But it's you know, for the muscle building abilities, I'm very low. So I can go there. But it takes me longer. It takes, you know, and also if I want to use this as an element of lifestyle, it's no way, because there's anybody who's just have a better genetics for me automatically will get there faster. I have a couple of friends here. They just like we train together, and it just like they just resolve. They just getting so much faster, and they don't even think it's like, oh wow, oh really? Yeah. And it's interesting. It's like even about on the females, like when they don't know they have this kind of ability to put the mass so much easier.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's totally individual specific, and some people have a very hard time, you know, losing weight. Yeah. And I think it's not only about the way they exercise, also the genetics, which definitely plays a role, right? So
also like. Right now, if I have all these informations about my clients, they have this so much easier to get them to the success. So much easier, so much faster. It's even like if I have this one of the first clients who was using genetics for her. It was just the element of lactose. Yeah. Because she reached the place when she just stayed the same number. It's like I cannot go there. And it's later we just see her lifestyle. Yeah, just remove the lactose. It was just automatically boom, just exactly. Because we can. Our body is so resistant, and people don't know. You just putting in this inflammation because we have understanding. I'm sick, or I'm not sick. They don't know there is something. You can be in the spectrum, and you can be sick. Yeah. So all this information, like combining, anything like that. If there was any moment in your life you've like discovered somebody who was your like motivator, and do you have any type of mentors who might be, because you said you went in this road because you will study mathematics and biology and later.
But also I was very heavily influenced by the movies. I'm a movie buff, so I love.
Oh yeah, we have this the same one.
Yeah. So I used to watch like a lot of these sci-fi movies, which more is inclined towards biology. Like for example, I watched this movie called Evolution. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, this movie is amazing. Like, and that's one movie. And then I saw Gattaca, right? That was one of the best movies that was way ahead of its time. Like, it's like, you know, Back to the Space movie, right? When you saw that movie where they talk about flying cars or hoverboards, you know, or even like, you know, phones where you can actually see people outside coming and all that, which is right now still happening. So this movie, Gattaca, was pretty much like how human genome could actually help individuals understand what their health could be like and all that. So I feel even the prophecy that they have shown in that movie has still not come to that level of execution. So I feel that movie is way ahead of its time. So if
I was just watching here with Chris. I was showing him for the first. He was just like watching this movie. Like, wow. Wow. But as the Gattaca, it's amazing. It's amazing. On this level of like you have this code inside of your body. But it's not a determination of what you want for yourself.
Very true, very true. So yes, so genetics is a tool that you can use it to your benefit. But again, end of the day, your ambitions, your goals in life, the things that you want to achieve is not just related to your genetics alone. You can do so many things from the lifestyle, or you can say the epigenetics, which you can influence to make it happen. So this is why I feel you should just not be worried of the genetics that you inherited, but maybe you can take more proactive steps to make things more better for you and also avoid worse things from happening to you.
Because I have like I have one friend here. She was born with the condition of her skin. So she's just peeling like.
Is it like eczema or
very high level? Like she's just she's dry all the time. You know her. Like she lost a lot of her. Like she was family just dumped her on the street here, and there was this local family. I think so, German British. Pick her up from the hospital and adopt her when she was still a baby, couple months, and so she grew up with them, and then she has this condition. She people that are really mean to her, bully her, her life because she physically looked like we'll say like what they call her, like a lizard. And she's a yogi teacher.
Cool.
She's a professional rugby referee.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So it's like
so that's I think it's all about the passion and motivation you have. No matter how much people try to bully you or malign your image or whatever, but I think if you have the guts, that
I think that this is your code. This is your own code, and this is in your power to interpretate this. Not into somebody else. To define you because they think they can read your code. No, they can. No way. Because there's more to this code.
Of course, yes. And that is what the movie is about.
Yes, exactly.
So I mean, people who haven't watched it, maybe your listeners.
You're a loser.
No, you have to watch it. That's
you have to watch it. Okay, let's do this. So we have this blood. You need to make a list of the movies. Movies. Like 5 the best ones everybody needs to watch.
For maybe to get more into genetics.
Or get more into Arun. Arun. But Arun is taken already. So. No, it's an open market. So guys, girls, market is open. Yes.
Like that.
So movies was something where they're kind of your motivators and the mentors. It's maybe some type of individuals, some people who just. Did you have like good teachers?
So basically, for me, after I have done with my education and all of that, I had the opportunity to also work with really good bosses or really good entrepreneurs. So when I was working for the first company,
what was your first job ever? Did you make your first money?
My first job was my first proper professional work. Like after I graduated, I worked as a geneticist for a company, like a personal genomics company. And this is where I had
in India.
In India, you can imagine. So 2013, and back then it was like people didn't even know what we're talking about.
Nothing. I don't think so. It was a genetic company.
No, it was a genetic testing company, but it was way ahead of its time, right? And yeah, so that point.
So you automatically your salary was just like boom. No, I'm kidding. Because it's like because there is some type of stereotype regarding the India, and it's what kind of country this is. We hear a lot of news, especially like right now with the protest.
Yeah. Well, that's because there is a lot of external media which don't know about what's happening inside India, and they talk about them. So this is what the problem, and they picture and they position these kind of news to external people or like people from other countries. It's completely like falsified. Like that's why I feel like people should come to India and understand the culture and the people, because it's so different from what you see in the media. People think, oh, it's a rape capital. No, there are more rapes in US than in India, technically, if you look at the numbers. Right? So it's all about the image, how they portray.
This is a beautiful city I want to visit in India. It's this kind of community who doesn't have a currency.
Ah, yes. It's called Pondicherry. It's an area called Auroville. Yeah, it's a French colony.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been there. Yeah, I mean, you can call it still as a French colony in the sense that there are still a lot of French people living there who are been there from a very long time. And I've been there. It's a wonderful place. You can go there for meditation. You can go there for chilling. You have beautiful beaches. You have like it's a union territory, which means there's no tax involved. So you can basically, spend very less amount of money for most of the things out there.
Yeah.
So it's a nice place, and there's no currency in that area because you have to do a social service. So the only currency is you need to help each other.
Yes.
So that's the currency. So it's basically what it shows that you are valuing humanity.
Yeah.
You're valuing
this is what I'm like personally. This is what I'm worried about India. It's a lot of those qualities from this country. They're so beautiful. So I just sometimes I have like goosebumps, and I'm like I was even talking about it with Chris when I was recording my last podcast. About Buddhism, and it's about a different type of philosophy, about a religion, and he mentioned a lot of stuff about on this element from India. And I'm worried they will like disappear, like for example those groups of the economics right now, what they're doing with those farmers, and it's just like
So that's always been a bigger agenda, right? Most of the political these groups, they try to take away the core elements of the society by brainwashing people, by pushing some wrong narratives. So this is where I feel like right now India is trying to get diverted, but I feel now people are regrouping and they are understanding, okay, this is what our identity is, and you should try and come back to the very core of humanity, and not throw mud on each other's face and think, okay, these people are much better. Other group of people are more terrible. It's nothing like that. As long as you have this, ability to respect each other and try and be more humble, I think that's the key elements.
Because you mentioned
nice society.
You mentioned like some time ago for me, like enterprise. This is something what you want. It's core in your beliefs, and it's your life and who you are also. It's how do you think you can, like, for example, use this kind of enterprise, drive what you have for helping in this space, or how you want to use this and your enterprise drive for what?
Yeah, sure. I mean, again, I want to do something in this field itself, because this is where my expertise is, and I want to do something more in the space of personalization. I mean, I know right now it's happening, but it's not happening at a holistic level. As I mentioned, it's probably like, for example, all these companies are only focusing on genetics alone. Some companies are only focusing on the diet or only just the fitness. You go to the gym and that's it. You come back, maybe you eat some healthy food, that's it. And maybe some people do the genetics and they do all of it, but then they don't take care of their mental health. So I want to take care of all the elements in a single platform where they can lead a much better life and also minimize the risk for many health conditions. So mentally and physically and genetically.
So do you have an idea what do you want to do exactly? It's kind of
so have a kind of a platform where people can sign up for this kind of a service, where from the very get-go they will have an understanding about their genes, they will have an understanding about what is working for them, they will also have an understanding about how much they need to focus on, let's say, meditation or certain kind of relaxation or breathing techniques, and how it can be monitored in terms of knowing whether it's doing any benefit to you or not. That is the key, because people can do many things in life, but you really don't know what output it's going to give you unless you monitor it. So that is the key. For example, we decided on doing vitamin D. Right? Why? Because we don't know we are deficient or not. So that's why we need to screen. So same way for other things, unless we screen, we don't know what benefit we are getting. So that's why I feel I want to do something where I can constantly monitor people, constantly tell them, oh, hey, you know what, the diet that you've been taking so far is good, but still you're lacking in certain vitamins. So you have to maybe consider more supplements for this specific vitamin or something like that.
What I discovered is like for example, in this health and fitness wellness space I am, people want like out-train their diet. They don't understand the core of why they are doing something. So it's the element of like what is the trigger point of this of their problem, because sometimes there's like, okay, I want to lose weight, but it's later I've discovered the point is like, they don't want to really lose weight, they just want to stop drinking. So this kind of like they're making assumptions like about the physical look. It's too much connected to the problems what they have. So especially in this city, when it's like in what kind of cities did you live before?
Malaysia, like 2 years, Singapore for a while, and then Hong Kong now 3 years, then India, I think, for most of my life, and then travel across Europe and stuff like that for work and all that. So majorly it's Southeast Asia.
So do you think like the different cities, they have a different type of genetic mutation of people?
Well, there are certain changes in, of course. How do you think the ancestry testing works? The ancestry test works because for every specific region there are certain markers which makes them different. Like why do you take a genetic test for ancestry, like for example, let's say 23andMe or Circle DNA, and when you took the test, how come they didn't assign you as Asian?
Because I am a little bit Asian.
No, but still,
what do you have?
But in your results, did you get like 100% Asian? No, right? So why is that?
What do you have? Let's open mine. Let's open yours.
Okay, so that's the underlying science, is that every region or the ethnicity has certain markers which is very unique.
So we are opening right now test for Circle DNA. Do you have yours?
I have to look into it. But maybe you can check yours.
Percentage wise. Opening the ancestry. So this one. Ta-da! This is me. It's exactly. And you see, I'm European.
87%, right?
87% European.
Right. So how do we come up with this percentage? Is because you have certain markers in your DNA sequence which is very much specific to the European ancestry.
Yes.
So for example, if I do, it will be South Asian, right? And majority. And that is because there are South Asian genetic markers which are very specific.
And I'm 12.4 East Asian.
Well, I think that is also, a kind of a statistical
But non-Chinese.
Yeah.
Only Chinese, I am 1.13.
But from what I know, this is an older version of Ancestry. I think now we are going to soon launch some updated version of Ancestry. Okay. So when that will happen, most likely this 12.4 might get converted to European.
It will be Eastern European.
Probably.
Yeah, Eastern Europe. It will be more like Ukraine and this kind of this, because this is the because my grandparents, they are from the South Ukraine, and this is Cossacks, and Cossacks they are Mongols.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because that's the Cossack was this kind of nation of free men. It was the first nation of free men, and they was just jumping between they're kind of similar to Switzerland, not Switzerland. Like Singapore or something, because it was jumping between the Christian nations, like, oh yeah, Christian is good. Middle Eastern countries good, because they was just using them as soldiers for wars, because they were just professional killers, you know. So it's
yeah. So that's the thing. So now, you know, the more data we have, the more studies we come across, the better the accuracy of the overall ancestry part gets. So the more closer we can get to the the real migrational roots of your ancestors.
So if you have all this information about yourself and your genetics, are you using this information for if you are dating somebody?
I think there are some companies, no, who are who are trying to do. It's called
Facebook.
Well, you never know. Maybe if, let's say, some companies sells their genetic data to Facebook, they can use that too. It's possible. You know, that's why I was trying to say earlier that the data that you have can be used for
I'm going for dates, and I'm showing the girls my genetic information.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, so
later they cannot see it. I didn't tell you. This is who I am.
Yeah.
Because do we have what we have here? Yeah, this is always fun for me.
I think there is one company that
personality traits
that George Church is also investing in, and what they are trying to do is an app where people who have done the genetic test, let's say from that company, they will try to automatically have a kind of a UI, more like a Tinder or something, where you can swipe amongst the customers inside that company, and you can go out on date or something like that, because there are certain family planning, right? We have one category, family planning.
Yeah, so but this is more about
for having kids and not having problems in future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, we don't have a problem. You will still have problems, but the kids will not have a disease.
No, So what I mean is the problem of passing it on to the child. That kind of a problem.
Yeah, because like telehealth, like extraversion, and they.
Oh, you mean things like this? I think this is totally.
No, but I'm showing this to them.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they're like, because they have this kind of understanding. I'm like this. I'm energetic and outgoing. I'm like, no, I'm reserved and I'm reflected. You have like understanding about me like this, but I'm here. This is who I am.
Yeah.
So like, so you are boring. I'm like, yes, I'm boring.
Well, it's not a good thing. No, why are you showing it then?
No, I'm showing. It's like, because there was working. I'm after 2 marriages, and it's just like, I think so the openness and the understanding of your partner it's very, very important.
True.
Yeah, like you see, like they think I'm sensitive and I'm concerned. No, I'm not sensitive. I'm not concerned. I'm confident and calm. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. So
cool. Yeah.
So maybe, dude. Maybe this is what we can do. Your enterprise agenda
to be start
dating. Okay, we have 3 projects already. Boom. Okay.
Yeah.
I know you are so busy. If you can say, what are you working on this right now, all those days?
So, I mean, we are working on something more clinical. Of course, I cannot disclose much information.
No.
But, like...
Shit. Sounds smart. Did you ever test your IQ?
No.
Yes, you did. Okay.
I mean,
this is weird.
Who should I show it to? No, it's not.
No, because it's weird, because it's like it's a number who represents something, but doesn't really present anything. But people make an assumption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people like I know who might have even like 180 or let's say 170 IQ, but they have not been successful.
There is this guy on the YouTube. He's proven he's like 180 something. Yeah, he's a farmer in US. No, seriously, I was sending the link to his.
Right. Yeah, so that's what I mean.
And he talks with aliens.
Okay.
He's 180. He talks with aliens.
Okay. So yeah, that's the thing, right? Like even you might have a good IQ, but if you don't do anything about it, what's the point?
He's talking with aliens. What are you talking about?
So maybe in the future, if you are being bombarded by aliens, it's probably
he's
him.
The man. He's the man. He's the communicator.
He's the communicator.
Yeah.
Like MIB.
What is MIB?
Mission, like Men in Black.
Oh, Men in Black.
Yeah, like Will Smith.
Okay. This can be you. Yeah. You laugh a lot, dude.
I do.
Yeah.
That's
you like stand-up comedy?
I do watch some of them, but not something like specific that I follow one specific guy. But I do like a lot of.
No, the scene in like when you mentioned like you didn't go to the gym.
Yeah.
Because like it was like one time the guys from India who bought this license for, it's called the Gold Gym. So Gold Gym is
I know Gold Gym.
Yeah. So they came here to Hong Kong and they had a meeting with like because the guy who sold them license was from Hong Kong.
Okay.
So they came here and I was part of the meeting. And then at that time they showed the numbers and it was like between the 1 to 3% of India they do fitness. On this level of like Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
And the female-wise was less than 1%.
Yeah.
So this market is just so big.
Very big. Yeah. I mean, it's becoming bigger because now people are getting influenced by social media. They're seeing, influencers posting of, videos about them working out and stuff. And they are also getting motivated.
Even I have this one friend here who's Indian government, like official, contacting her, so she will represent. She's not not even into bodybuilding. She's ripped, big muscle wise, but she's asking her to represent India for bodybuilding competition.
Okay, could be.
It's just like, but I think it's in this fitness space. The element of the gym needs to be redefined exactly because the people are pushing like too much on it. Because I remember when I was exiting California, there was a time, it was 2010, 2012.
Yeah.
This element of meditation and the breathing was coming to the scene, like how much breathing is important to the fitness.
Okay.
And nobody talks about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So nowadays you see all those, I don't know, I mean you must be knowing more about it, those masks where you can also, try and monitor your VO2 max, right? So like your oxygen capacity because that can
even
also...
this Samsung start building something so you can bro to your cell phone.
Okay, yeah, so I mean of course there can be advancements, but so there are a lot of companies who are actually having these machines which can monitor your VO2 max, which is how much oxygen that you can intake into your lungs.
Yeah.
And based on that, you can try and train for certain things. It could be either endurance sports or it could be either endurance exercises. So this way you can develop your overall, I would say, breathing efficiency. Yeah. And higher breathing efficiency.
Did you better try those? The exercises, breathing exercises?
I have tried, but I never tried those VO2 max, devices or those machines. I'm planning to do it maybe this time. I actually have a friend in India who.
I will take you here.
Okay.
That's number 4.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Right now they're empty.
Yeah. Right.
No, there is you can always go. There is one like a full scan machine.
Okay.
And it's so cheap. I think it's like 300 Hong Kong dollars.
And what does it do?
Just scan your exactly your muscle tissue, your bones, everything. Because this is because if you're talking about a body composition scanning, you have this kind of machine. You kind of like stand here on that. So there's one here.
Our office.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You have those kind of machines who just do their like in F45 they do the scan, like 3D scan, and later they match your 3D scan with like database of the body scan, like a medical, and if you are similar to somebody else in the database, this will give you the same numbers.
Okay.
You know, and there is this kind of like a thermal, so you just go inside, you're closing, and they putting the air pressure on you, and they extending, so they checking, and this machine is just do like a kind of MRI for you, and it just give you exactly like a what is your body, meaning it's like your fat levels, your skin, bone, of this. Okay, I won't take you too much of time. 2 questions, quick ones. If you got a chance to present some type of information to everybody in the planet in the form of some type of advertisement, display, billboard, anything like that, and it needs to be some type of message, what do you think will be?
You mean for health, or what?
No, overall, this doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just you have this opportunity to say something to everybody.
Wow, man, that's a very
don't call me.
That's a very deep question. Yeah. I would say one is to try and respect animals. I think that's a very key important factor as a human being, because without nature and without animals around you, you cannot flourish as a species, I feel, because it's ultimately this earth is going to coexist with multiple species in it. So it's not like only humans can keep thriving, we start killing every animal out there, we start eating everything, then ultimately there will be nothing, because everything is interconnected. So that's why I feel if we can respect animals and we can just try and not cause harm to them, that is one message that I would like to put. And second,
you're vegetarian?
Yes, I mean I would say I only eat oysters and clams, that's it. I don't eat anything else.
So they are not animals?
I mean, the thing, they are, of course, animals, but the thing is, for me, it's also the factor of pain, because these kind of, especially shells, like these kind of, kind of oysters and stuff, they don't have nervous system, so they don't really feel the pain as such. So that's the reason why I'm like still okay with eating them. But rest of them have a developed nervous system, so they do feel pain and all that. So that's why so that's because I'm more empathetic for them. I feel like if somebody has to cut me open and eat because they feel that I am someone who's more inferior to them, so how would you feel, like that kind of a feeling? So if you have to put yourself in that position of their animals.
I know. I think it's a given that's like Chris of it's when one time he told me, can you run to the kitchen and then grab the jar and a piece of paper, because if he see any type of bug here, he will just swoop it. And gently
and then leave it.
Release.
Sure.
So the cruelty of animals. It's
I mean, you can clearly see the after effects of it. For example, all this animal industry lobbying, you can see how it's causing global warming. I mean, now 60
even diseases.
Why do you think COVID-19 happened in the first place?
Exactly.
So this is majorly because we are trying to try and eat something which is not really
pushing the boundaries with the with the consumption. And it's a mix of I think it's just the element of the so what will be it? Don't be cruel.
So don't be cruel, and have some sympathy for animals, and try to be more plant-based, I would say. It's as simple as that.
Plant-based.
Because
how many but I'm only worried about the plant-based. It's once again people going to the area and they pushing something what later will be destroying everything else too, because it's like I think it's more about like, for example, you have all those plant-based food right now, and they're just packed with the chemicals.
No, so do you think the animal meat is less packed with chemicals? It's in fact more worse, right?
I mean, I grew up on a farm, so
yeah. So you know, like how much hormones they use for all these animals.
We didn't use anything.
No, but now you know how.
Now, yes.
So what I'm saying is now it's more commercialized. Of course, if you're living in 60s, 70s, and 80s,
how old are you? What do you think?
No, I'm just giving an example. No. So if you're in those era, I would understand. Okay, maybe you had access to a proper, farm animals and stuff, which is not commercial, right? But now everything is about commercial. Yes. Even the meat that you see is like so, beefed up, so juicy. Why is it? So good. It's all because of the hormones that they pump in. Also, the kind of food they try to give them. It's all heavily.
No, they just use this really good, bull to just impregnate all those cows, and they just
So when they do that,
this guy is juiced up. He's going to the gym every day. No, but I know what you mean. I think it's about a balance. I feel like right now I'm trying to work like with this guy is a leather tank. He's like really into farm.
But there are many vegan bodybuilders too. So how do you think they are trying to have that kind of body?
There's a lot of injection in their ass.
Really?
Yes, dude, I was competing.
No, I mean maybe in the contest that you have gone, yes. But what I'm saying is also there are.
No, I know the strongest man in the earth.
He's vegan, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And he doesn't take any steroids, from what I know.
No, he's not.
Unless he's going like.
No, he says he doesn't juice up. It's like they did a test on him, and I believe in it. He's like, okay, if he will even take it, okay, so he will be a second the strongest, okay, second. So
that's the thing. It's not about your aesthetics alone. So maybe you might have 8 packs, a bodybuilder, whatever. No, but you might not really actually be healthy inside.
I think what is important is to eat the food as closer who was killed, because I believe in killing plants also. I have on the same level. Killing plants and killing animals for me is the same.
Okay, so then if I ask you a simple question, let's say if you're going on a highway and there is a bush in front of you and then there is a sheep in front of you. So which one would you run over?
I don't know.
No, you have to choose one. Like let's say if you go left, you run over the bush. If you go right, then you kill the sheep. So which one, where would you take your direction?
Depends on what is the sheep.
No,
in the front of me.
In front of me, yeah.
I would just throw the sheep.
You'll kill the sheep.
Yeah, I'll kill the sheep. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's
no, but I'm talking about it because you're talking about an extreme the situation.
Yeah.
If I would put it in extreme also, it's like okay, you almost dying, and there is a really juicy burger.
Okay. Okay.
You're like, okay, we're eating this, baby.
No, that's.
You know why I'm saying this?
Yeah.
Because I believe those plants have feelings also.
I know this is a debate which many people try to bring up, but I would simply say that in terms of the plant consumption, right? It's not only about how they have the feelings about it, but it's also about the environment that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like if you see the majority of global warming, 60 to 65% comes from the animal grazing or the production of beef. So all this pollution that you're complaining about is not just from the cars and all of that. It's also because of the green gases which are emitted by the animals. Because all that cow dung and also the electricity that's being used, everything is accounting.
I'm saying you're 100% true.
Yeah.
It's even a global warming. There was this really nice documentary made about this pretty boy, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, okay.
So he made a documentary about global warming.
Yeah.
And it's one of the messages from this is about cities. Cities that are the biggest contributor to global warming.
Yeah, of course.
Cities. So if we just eliminate cities, done.
But that's not going to happen. I mean, that's not realistic, right?
Yeah,
no, but what is realistic is if you're someone who eats meat, maybe cut down to once or twice in a week. Don't eat every day. Like, is it really like? Can you not survive without eating it? Of course you can.
No, of course I can.
Yeah, exactly. So what is stopping?
But at the same time, I know it's like how much animals needs to die to make the salad happen.
No, what salad? What do you mean by that? Like for salad, why you need animals?
No, they kill animals.
Who kills animals?
The people who produce salads.
No, they don't.
They're taking over the the dirt, the field, and there was like mouses, there was a bugs live from
no,
there.
but the thing is, in order to make your one patty burger of beef, it takes you approximately 20 gallons of water. So you're not only wasting.
You know how much water your genes took in?
That's why that's why I make that's why I make sure that when it comes to genes and all of that, you also make sure that it's more eco-friendly in a way that you set the functions of your washing machine too.
Yeah, but producing the genes.
Or producing genes, but yes, it's a one-time thing, right? It's not like you're buying every day. But burger and all that you're eating every other day. You know what I mean?
Trust me, if you have more money, you have every gene. You have jeans for Monday, Tuesday.
No, even if I
you have underwear for the jeans. You like it? No, seriously, I'm on the same page like you. It's
a never-ending debate. The thing is, of course, I'm not trying to make a strong point to say that people should cut down completely, but I'm just saying make small changes. Why do you think they came up with these concepts like Green Monday? The idea is to cut down some amount of intake. And I was seeing a statistics recently that Hong Kong has the highest amount of greenhouse gas emissions compared to all the cities in the world. Did you know about that? 70% of the greenhouse gases, even though we have so much green land, it's so high. Because of the meat intake. Because of the electricity, you see all the time their lights on and all of that. And the ferries.
I was just watching the interview of the Elon Musk, and he was talking about the subject and the element of the taxation for the CO2 emission. This is something that needs to be done.
Yeah, makes sense. Because if you are falling, let's say, under the global carbon emissions rate, then they have to charge you with higher tax. So that way, the country will be obliged to follow the rules and try to minimize.
And automatically, the element what you're talking about of animal cruelty, because it's such a mass production, those places produce more CO2 than raising, carrots. Yeah. So automatically, the market will push in these directions.
Yes. I mean, now if you want to buy a salad in a supermarket compared to buying a meal of meat, which is more expensive? Salad. It's so expensive. Here, when I came here, I was so shocked. I was like, man, it's so expensive to be a vegetarian here.
Yeah.
So I was like, why is it? Like, it's so easy to grow vegetables and plants.
Because a lot of meat production, it's subsidized.
Yes, why? Because there is a global, agenda for it to push.
It's not an agenda. It's the specific industries.
Which are lobbying. Yeah, exactly. Which are lobbying so that people can easily, think, oh, this is much cheaper. Maybe I should buy this rather than buying a salad. And it's not making a big dent on the pocket.
So there is in economics, it's there is this subject, study. It's called capitalism. Yeah. So you study capitalism, and there is something. It's what lately it's coming to the floor. It's something that's called the conscious capitalism. Yeah. So it's the book written by the guy who built a lot of businesses in States about this. We have this power as a customers, as a consumers, to make things happen by buying and doing stuff what we believe they are right.
Yeah.
So
I think nowadays, all the companies, even like, let's say if you're investing in stocks, right, they have something like ESG score or something. It's like environmental score. So they see every company, whether they are meeting the different standards of how eco-friendly they are, how much they are involved in the, different kind of charity related stuff for different societies or stuff like that. So they are putting all these factors, and that is also determining how good the stocks can be in terms of investing also. So they are looking at the social cause and the environmental cause around it as well. Because Pepsi and all that, you see, they are investing in certain lobbying and all that, and also there are different elements around it in terms of environment, how they can disrupt certain wetland surrounding to the factories and all that, because they're dumping the chemicals. So this will reduce their score. Even though economically they are making huge money,
Yeah.
but still it has an impact on the environment.
Mm-hmm.
So all this is also determining whether a stock will be good or not long term.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So people are opting, investors are opting more for a good environmental score
Yeah.
when it comes to stocks.
No, they can just buy the GameStop.
With Wall Street bets.
Did you get it?
No, I didn't get it, man. It fell down, man. Now you know, right?
No, I'm doing I'm going back to crypto right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you getting? Like
I just
Dogecoin or
yeah. No,
Bitcoin?
I sold I exchanged half of my bitcoins for the Filecoin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why? But Bitcoin is all-time high. Why would you want to sell it?
Because there's so much value, so I exchanged those for the Filecoin because Filecoin is just started. Filecoin.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the coin. It's related to this idea of building new internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll send you more stuff.
Okay. Yeah. But I'm staying away from crypto because you never know this bubble, man. Suddenly there'll be some legal issues surrounding it. It might fall down. You never know.
Yeah, it's the US right now is changing the social security money will be exchanged for the coin.
Right.
Yeah.
But for example, like in India, they are totally banned cryptocurrencies. So I don't know at this point.
Yeah, but India is just like on Monday it can be bankrupt, and next Monday is the richest country.
No, but I also feel there is so many downsides to crypto also. Like terrorists are using it for terrorism, and there are some
using US dollars for terrorism.
No, but they are also buying machines, which is because it's very hard to track the payment system because there's no structured way.
It's open information.
Open in the sense, the thing is they can send it through via. You will never know where it's coming from, the ultimate source.
It's called banking.
No, it's basically the the kind of platform that they have, the blockchain technology, where it'll enable you to totally encrypt the kind of source that you're sending the money or the bitcoins from. So this is one of the ways that you can get away. Like let's say you can, like one of the earlier stories where in US people were buying weed and cocaine from bitcoins, and back then it was not big thing. It was that point of time Bitcoin.
Yeah, but you can use PayPal. You can use anything.
No, PayPal you can still track the exact from the bank account because when you're transferring from PayPal, you have to still convert your bank money. I mean, transfer your bank money to PayPal, right? Through PayPal. So it is coming from a bank, but Bitcoin is not coming from any bank.
PayPal comes from the email. You can have a fake email.
You can have a fake email, but ultimately, how do you pay through PayPal? It's getting deducted from your bank, right?
No,
the money. So where is the money coming from?
You can transfer them from the any type of card. You can go to.
So where is the card associated with?
So it says, okay, you're going to the 7-Eleven.
Right.
You buying a debit card, and you deposit money on this debit card.
Okay.
And then you transfer from this money from this debit card to the PayPal.
Yeah, but when you're buying debit card from let's say 7-Eleven, you do have to give some identifying information, right?
No.
But not everyone does like this. You're getting my point.
Yeah, because because I'm doing drugs.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So for Bitcoin, for all these things,
you can track. That's the point.
Yeah, I mean, it is very hard. That is what the government is trying to step in because it's very difficult for to track the terrorism, to also track the narcotics.
Because it's very easy to track.
Really? I don't think that's the debate people are having, but maybe, I don't know.
No, because can you imagine like you put in a government and you can see everything?
But the thing is, it's also very secure, right? Like the blockchain technology
it's secure.
But also at the same time, it is something it can be hacked very easily.
No, blockchain cannot be hacked.
No. What I mean is people can steal from your account if you have Bitcoin, let's say. It's easy. There are many people who they got hacked like that.
No. What got hacked got exchanged. Got hacked. So what happened? It's if I have Bitcoins, you have Bitcoins, and Chris running exchange, and I will say I wanna exchange your Bitcoins for my Bitcoins. and I'm give money to Chris.
Yeah.
And somebody will steal from Chris. This is what happened. Okay. I can take a long time.
Yeah.
I don't take too much. You have a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be one more question about gratitude, but it's. I know you're practicing something like this in some way. In some way. What are you thankful usually? You have like some routine, like a morning. Do you have any moments in your life when you just go, and later you realize I need to go back to the core?
I think, recently I'm trying to, resonate with the fact that I should try and focus more on my inner self. Like maybe I need to try and do yoga and stuff like that, because I feel apart from your existing well-being from, let's say, from your diet or other things, right? Mental health is very important. So I feel if you're focused and channelized, you can achieve so many things in your life, because that plays a huge role on, let's say even for the CEO of Prenetics, like he's very driven, right? Like that kind of drive, if you want, you need to, I think, have some kind of a mentality, and that positive outlook and mentality will only come when you're trying to re-engineer things in your mind, or try and focus on certain elements of your mental health, maybe.
Okay.
So that's
did
something
did you practice yoga before?
Yeah, I have done few times, like with people who have been trained in it, and I'm planning to do something by myself.
What is yoga for you?
It is a kind of a ritual where it can help you to enrich your overall outlook for the overall world. At the same time, it can also help you with mental health.
Because when you grew up in India, and they say it's yoga is from India.
Yes.
When did you experience first time yoga?
Oh, very late in my life, probably.
Right?
Yeah, probably like 2021. Yeah.
Wow.
Very late. But my dad is a kind of a certified yoga teacher.
Wow.
And
when he started?
He just started. He also started very recently. he got like the certification.
But he's an engineer.
Yeah, he's an engineer. But he got into yoga probably at the age of 58 or something.
Wow.
So now he's he's like teaching people now.
Wow.
So
it's amazing, can be for his circles of friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like motivated by him also.
What's your mom's doing?
Yeah, she is not into yoga, but she likes to do, like a brisk walking and stuff, like some kind of physical activity.
Yeah.
But I would say my dad is more health conscious than my mom.
I think it's getting more and more into guys too. Like I remember when my dad had a first heart attack. Yeah, it was this it's like automatically it's like, yeah, let's do it.
Right.
It's not like.
But actually, I'm surprised. In Hong Kong, most of the health conscious people are women or girls.
It's overall, like if you go globally, if you look at it's about a 70% it's females. But it's okay, dude. I think this is over. I can talk longer, but I see you like sleeping on this chair. No. Okay, so we have a couple plans.
Yes.
Okay, guys, thank you so much, Arun. How people can reach you? How they can?
I mean, very easily approachable. So you can just type Arun K22 on Instagram. You can find me. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can just type Arun Kiran. You'll find probably first name coming up.
Yeah.
And you can just look out on these platforms.
So I will display all this information on all the platforms. So once again, Arun, thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be on your channel, and I hope you do wonderful things in your life. And I'm sure you're doing great already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, those of Mack PowerHouse podcast. Till the next time. Thank you. Bye. Tin 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 tin. Music.
Okay. Oh my God.
Yeah, 1 hour 48.
Holy shit! I didn't expect that was so long.
Yeah, how you feeling?
Good.
Yeah.